The Detroit Pistons have had a busy offseason so far, and one intriguing move that the team made was signing sharpshooter Duncan Robinson from the Miami Heat. Robinson has spent his entire career in Miami so far, so this will be a big change for him. He is coming to Detroit on a 3-year deal that is worth $48 million, but only $18.8 million is guaranteed. The first year of the deal is fully guaranteed, but the next 2 seasons are a different story. Sources: the Detroit Pistons signed Duncan Robinson to a 3-year, $48 million deal, which is fully guaranteed at $16.8 million for the 2025-26 season, partially guaranteed $2 million out of a possible $16 million in the 2026-27 season, and non-guaranteed for the 2027-28 season. Michael Scotto said in a post, "The $18.8 million that is guaranteed in this contract is similar to what Robinson's early termination clause was with the Heat. Duncan Robinson's $18.8 million guaranteed with the Detroit Pistons via sign-and-trade is nearly the same amount as his early termination clause with the Miami Heat," Scotto added. Robinson, a career 40% three-point shooter, returns to Michigan after playing for the Wolverines for 3 seasons in college. Robinson has one of the best stories in the NBA, and he is starting to write a new chapter. He started his college basketball career at the Division III level, but he started to make a name for himself after transferring to Michigan. Robinson was a lights-out shooter for the Wolverines, but he didn't get drafted to the NBA. He was able to sign a 2-way contract with the Heat, however, and the rest is history. People have been doubting Robinson for his entire career, and he just keeps proving people wrong. No one expected him to do anything with the Heat, and then in the 2019-20 season, he averaged 13.5 points per game and shot almost 45% from 3. Robinson was a key player on a team that made a run to the NBA Finals, and he earned a $90 million contract because of it. Robinson hasn't quite reached that same level since, but he is still a great spark off the bench because of his three-point shooting ability. While his numbers weren't as impressive last year, he still averaged double figures and shot just under 40% from deep. Now, Duncan Robinson gets to make a return to the Mitten State. He is loved by Wolverines fans as he helped the team make a run to the national title game in 2018, and a lot of those fans support the Pistons. Robinson will be loved in Detroit. The Miami Heat have ensured that their roster will have some new life in the 2025-26 season following their trade for veteran guard Norman Powell. The Heat were able to strike a deal to acquire the 32-year-old in a 3-team trade that also involved the Los Angeles Clippers and Utah Jazz. While Powell hasn't played a minute for the Heat yet, the trade for him is a pretty easy deal to like from Miami's perspective. Let's take a look at why that's the case. 1. What a bargain. It isn't very common for a team to be able to trade for a borderline star on a reasonable contract without having to give up much in return. Somehow, that's what team president Pat Riley and the Heat were just able to pull off. Miami only gave up 2 outgoing pieces in the deal, veterans Kevin Love and Kyle Anderson. While Love is a valued locker room presence and Anderson is capable of providing rotation minutes, neither player was likely going to move the needle for the Heat in the 2025-26 season. This is a low-risk, high-reward deal for Miami. In the 2023-24 campaign, the Heat agreed to a deal with the Charlotte Hornets for guard Terry Rozier. Rozier came to Miami on a contract that looked more reasonable at the time, and it has kept him under club control for multiple seasons. In that trade, the Heat had to give up veteran guard Kyle Lowry and a first-round pick. It's no secret that the Rozier deal has aged poorly. But the Powell deal is not the Rozier deal. Even if this trade doesn't pan out, will there be any major regret over the price the Heat had to pay to acquire him? 2. Multiple needs filled. Powell just had the best season of his NBA career, and if he can produce at a similar level this coming season, Miami's offense could look drastically different. The Heat struggled on that side of the floor in the 2024-25 campaign, as they finished the regular season ranked 21st in offensive rating and 24th in points per game. They also ranked near the middle of the pack in many three-point categories and have already lost sharpshooter Duncan Robinson this offseason. Newcomer Simone Fontecchio may be able to help fill that void, but Powell's addition will also be big when it comes to three-point shooting. The same goes for Powell's impact on the offense at large. After he averaged 21.8 points, 3.2 rebounds and 2.1 assists per game this past season while shooting 48.4% from the field and 41.8% from deep. Look for Miami to be less stagnant on the offensive end. 3. Contract year Powell? Powell comes to the Heat on a deal that has just one season remaining. He'll make a bit more than $20 million in the 2025-26 campaign. Club control is always nice, but there are a number of reasons to like the fact that Powell will be playing on an expiring deal. Take your pick. He could be extra motivated to have another big season and increase his value. If the Heat were to put a bigger trade together at some point, his contract would be easy to move. The 2025-26 season should give Miami a sort of trial run with Powell to see how the partnership goes, and if it's a success, the Heat may have the inside track to retain him in contract talks next offseason. At the end of the day, Powell's contract situation comes with a lot of flexibility for the Heat, and that isn't a bad thing to have. 4. Fun meter rising. The 2024-25 season was decidedly not a fun one for the Heat or their fans. Between distractions and a lack of on-the-court success, there wasn't a whole lot to get excited about, and the season ended with a thud when the Heat, who snuck into the playoffs despite finishing below .500, were embarrassed by the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, the odds of a fun 2025-26 season for Miami may be rising. The Eastern Conference will unfortunately have a very different look this coming season due to some devastating injuries to star players. That's never a good thing for the league, but it does open up the conference quite a bit, which could benefit a team like the Heat. Nobody here is saying Miami is going to compete for a title in the 2025-26 campaign now that Powell is in the fold, but what if the team has a fun regular season, nabs an outright playoff spot, and has a manageable matchup in the first round? What if that turns into a manageable matchup in the second round? We've seen the Heat tap into their bank of postseason magic before, and if the vibes are right this coming season, maybe something similar could happen again. When expectations are low, that's oftentimes when a team rises up and provides fans with a fun brand of basketball. Acquiring score-first guard Norman Powell for just Kyle Anderson, Kevin Love, and a second-round pick is a huge win for the Miami Heat, but team president Pat Riley may have another trick up his sleeve. Former number 1 pick Andrew Wiggins was the centerpiece of the return for Jimmy Butler when he was dealt to the Golden State Warriors at last season's trade deadline. However, it's possible he already suited up for the Heat for the final time. The addition of Powell signals a desire to contend, but his expiring contract also proves they're open to developing their young pieces if the 2026 campaign is a failure. Wiggins, on the other hand, is built strictly to play for a contender, which is why a proposed trade sees the Heat add flexibility to their roster. The pitched deal sends Wiggins and Haywood Highsmith to the Los Angeles Lakers. Maxi Kleber, Gabe Vincent, Shake Milton, and Jordan Goodwin head to the Washington Wizards, and the Heat acquire Khris Middleton, Dalton Connect, and a 2032 first-round pick, via LAL, top 5 protected. Middleton is entering the final season of his 3-year, $93 million contract, so the Heat are not trapped if he performs poorly next year. The 33-year-old NBA champion is clearly regressing as he averaged just 11.9 points on 47.5% shooting in 2025. Connect, a 24-year-old sophomore coming to Miami, puts less pressure on the addition of Middleton to work out because he fits in with the young core led by Kel'el Ware, Jamie Jaquez Jr., and others.